Hello everybody and welcome to the Blinx the Time Sweeper segmented speedrun. Now this is something that we've done in the past, but this is actually a redo with better and faster strats. My name is Miku, I'm one of the Blinx speedrunners, and joined with me today is the other Blinx speedrunner.
Hey guys, it is Lotus here, and I am the other one who ran these segments within this.
So Lotus, I just wanted to ask, why did we want to redo this?
We wanted to redo this because we wanted to incorporate some strats that we had found since the previous segmented run into this one. And we also wanted to increase our execution as much as we could to push this game as much to the limit as possible.
This is something that we've been planning since 2022. We took breaks on and off, but the original plan was to have it done before 2023, which we did, but currently we're recording it in 2024. But hey, better late than never. And I think we should get started.
Let's get started.
So on the left here, you can see the statistics. Shows our target time, the run time, the gold that we collected, the actual gold, and the attempt time for how long it took for each segment. The time controls that we collect in this level, and then we have the timer for the current segment, and then the full game timer. And you can obviously see the runner at the top. So for this first level, it was me who was running this. Probably the most important thing about this was just, being tight with my executions of movement and just limiting the amount of jumping height that I do at the start, just to save that amount of time. That was something that was very specified.
It is worth noting that attempt time is rounded to the nearest minute for simplicity, because if we did exact times every time, it would be just wonky, and we did not want that. So 1-2 is not changed very much in terms of its execution. We were mainly aiming to get as good of luck as possible here. And as you can see, my target gold here was 500, whereas previously it was around 450, I believe. And this time, because of the 2 large hearts and medium star, I got 499 thanks to the dust order balls.
One less gold, but it's not nothing to worry about. Something that we can keep up along the way. This level, nothing too different from the full game run. Just make sure that you do your executions tight. Go fast. And thankfully for this segment, I didn't have to spend too long on this, like 6 minutes. So honestly, just felt like a regular any percent run.
One boss is no different than what we did it in the previous segmented run. It already met all the requirements, which involves having the Dust Keeper land on the faraway spot. This ensures that we are close to the goal gate once he goes down.
Yeah, we reused clips a couple times in this segmented speedrun because, why you don't really want to change something that's already really good, so we kind of just incorporated it into the new run itself.
And 2-1 is for the most part the same if you know my execution of it, but we were trying to get it as tight as possible. And in addition, the gold was also a pretty strict requirement. So the way I determine basically how good I'm doing in this stage is I basically see what my in-game time looks like by the time I pick up the rewind. And in this case, we're at 35:46, and that is very good. And then with 2 more trash, we can kill the yellow chronoblob and finally finish the stage.
Yeah, having a sub 1 for 2-1 is really nice. I think so for 2-2. I think this is also another stage where we reused the same clip from our previous segmented run.
Yep, that is correct. The 3 splits that we reused were 1 boss, 2-2, and 2 boss.
So nothing too crazy, Make sure we get our 2 fast forwards here. through, you know, RNG. I don't think this would have taken too long to do in terms of attempt time. You know, make sure as well to get as much gold, get the roulette to get that extra gold, and make sure, you know, try not to miss input with like trying to sweep up trash as well. Oh wait, I didn't even get the roulette.
You don't actually want to do this roulette because this one actually gives less gold.
True, I forgot about that.
Not in a segmented run, but in full game it's more viable because 200 to 300 extra gold can really make a difference. But if we know our requirements going in, we don't need to bother.
Okay. 46 minutes on the attempt time. A little bit longer, but honestly not too bad. Pretty tame when it comes to Blinx attempts, the amount of duration. So yeah, you know, the amount of fast forwards that we get in this doesn't really matter too much. As long as you get one, then it's fine. Had a little mishap there, but oh well, half a second should be fine.
And that bridge can really mess with you.
And then me and Lotus were talking about this before, but the amount of gold that we got from this roulette was actually quite high. Pretty lucky. Usually, on the average, I usually get around maybe like 650 to like 730 in terms of gold, but having like, what was it, 800 something? It's quite high. 813? Yeah, that's pretty high. I mean, hey, and if you wanted as well, you could get this gold that's over here too. You probably like get close to over 1,000, but you know, since we planned it out, we don't really need it. All right.
So 2 boss, we are once again going for super fast Karagon, which involves getting that final blow in a fast forward state. And you can actually get the fast Karagon hit, which is the second hit, even if he goes to the left. It's just that the execution here is more or less perfect. It leaves pretty much no spare frames. But as long as you can get it, then you're good.
The
fast forward hit can really be a pain.
Yeah, because it's you know, very hard to. Not only is it hard to control and fast forward, the wonky aim also doesn't really help you here. You know, so 3-1. Nothing too crazy here. I think, you know, I use 2 fast forwards here instead of usually in full game use 1. But it did help a lot in getting this time down. 4 seconds might not seem much, but it does help out. And I also got pretty lucky with our gold requirement as well. We got an extra 133, which is you know, there were a couple levels before where we were a little bit low on our gold requirement, but this little boost helps us out.
Yep.
Obviously, when we planned this out, all of our gold was sort of predetermined and sort of how much we wanted to earn. We weren't going into this blind. Otherwise, it would have been a little bit wonky.
Yep. We always plan for a segmented run in advance.
Crazy. So 4,500, quite high. I think usually for any percent, a high gold amount is about 4,200, or like even like above 3,900.
Yep, I would classify 4,000 as high.
At this level, 3-2. It's a little bit tricky to get this level fast. There's a few elements in this that like can mess you up. So for the first thing is this fast forward segment. Controlling fast forward itself is quite, you know, it's difficult to get at first. So trying to get these chrono blows fast while also trying not to like mess up the shot or get hit like preemptively. Then you gotta land on this button. But usually I like to aim in terms of the segment. I like to hit that door before a minute. That's when I know that I'm going like super fast. Another tricky part of this is this area. So sometimes the mole guns won't pop up like when you want to, but I got a pretty good roll here. And, you know, also want to pick up record as well. Sometimes the monsters won't drop like enough record crystals, so that can be a bummer. But so we use, grab our fast forward, use it, grab our 2 records, head out. It was a bit low, 16 gold, but then again, the one extra 130 gold that I got from the stage helps out a bit. We can be a little cheeky with our gold.
So 3-3 was a very fun one to finally get the right segment for. So it starts out the same, but because I get absurd luck here, we're going to end up finishing the stage getting more than 1,000 gold, which is bonkers high.
So
the highest gold I've ever seen in this stage is 1,200. And that's basically anomaly levels of luck. So even 1,000 is great, and we consider good here getting around 800. Now the first fast forward that you saw used was unchanged, based on what we do normally. However, we're going to use a second one, because we have enough time controls to do it. So we're going to do it right here. Sweep 2 bombs. And then deal the finishing blows. 3 boss is, for the most part, similar, but the first hit is the big difference. So you can do this. You can land the first hit before it ever can be a threat. And I remember how many times I ended up having to restart this stage just because I ended up getting hit at the same time. It's not easy to get that hit at all.
How tight is the execution in terms of, like, would you say frames or timing to get that shot?
You only have a few frames.
Gold amount was pretty high as well for this stage.
Funnily enough, when we did this last time, the target gold was actually 1,700. But I knew that the execution here was going to need to be a little less demanding for gold, just because of that first hit. So it was dropped to 1,600. But even then, I ended up getting 1,714 thanks to the trash.
Oh boy. Here we come to probably one of my favorite levels of the game. Now, I spent a lot of time on this level. Not because I was having trouble with it per se, but I was beating the target time, but I knew I could push it a little further, so that's what I was aiming for. And as I was playing through the stage, I got through better, like, ironing out my execution, going really fast. The big part about this was just trying to get, I think it was just the record, and I got lucky here. It was very nice. And then the gold requirement as well. It's not too bad, but you can get pretty unlucky sometimes. So right here, like, I only have 325. I have the ball, which gives me 425. So it's like I'm basically trying to scrap up, trying to see if I can get as much gold as I can. But I think when we get towards the end of the stage, I will have enough gold to do so. So it's all about now.
I was really proud of Miku for this stage.
It was fun. I had some good stuff. It was important at the end here that I needed to kill every single monster. Like, 2 shots. So that they all died. And then I jump on top of that branch and get to the stage very quickly. Change up the strat here. So usually we buy 3 super bombs, but we buy 4 for this. This is gonna go in well with the record strat that we're going to do in this level. Super cool. So,
So if you've seen present-day speedruns, you may be familiar with what is known as record abuse. So when you activate a record, the game essentially takes a snapshot, so to speak, of everything that you had prior to record activation. And if you finish a stage while in a record state, everything that you had in your sweeper is treated as if it was still in the sweeper. So if we kept just the 4 super bombs, for example, we would actually make 1,000 gold back, even if we didn't have them in our sweeper by the time we entered the gold game. And you're going to see that come into play.
It's super clutch, and when it comes up in future stages, because it's really nice being able to use as much of your ammo as you can without any sort of repercussions. Because the thing with record is that record's nice, but it is time consuming because you have to replay back your record. But doing this basically just gets rid of that problem. And it's really nice to have that, the gold from the super bombs. And you're also invincible, so you can do some crazy strats with that too.
Just for comparison, we were out of 4-2 in 15 minutes and 3 seconds in the previous segmented run. We entered 4-3 for 14:30 in this one.
Yeah, we really stepped up our game with this segmented run. So, a little bit sad I didn't have as much gold in this segment, but I think this level is a little bit tricky. There's a lot of things that you can mess up. So at there's this water spirit shot here, trying to make sure that you shoot all 6 trash shots into it, and then you gotta like hit the octoballoons. It's a bit tricky, and then there was the obviously the time control requirements as well, because implementing randomness with time controls and then trying to grab them when you're trying to go really fast, it's a little bit hard. But yeah, after hour 40 minutes, I got maybe 2 minutes past the target time, which I guess felt like I could have been a little better, but again, so right here I was trying to get I think I was trying to get a record and I couldn't get it, so I was like, alright, I'll just get the fast forward and then pray that I'll get a record from this water spirit. And very lucky me, I get 2 record crystals here and then 1 drops from this octoballoon. There's gonna be a lot of times in this run where it's sort of just very lucky with time crystal drops. But that's the thing about segmented runs, is that you can abuse sort of RNG in your favor to get the best possible odds. Like this clip, for example, where since the trash and the time crystals that drop from the stage is random, you can have it so that the trash drops near you, so then you can sweep it fast enough to hit the Dust King in its first jump, which saves a lot of time, surprisingly. And
there's one thing I could pick at. It's the fact that you missed that one shot there.
Yeah. And also, I think I was scared because the last segmented run we did, I did spend a lot of time on this stage. It was because of trying to get that rewind end of the fast Dust King. But I got very lucky here, so I will take that.
Yep. So now we're finally in 5-1. This was another stage that was very difficult to get, because a lot of things here are execution based. But one thing you'll probably see here is that we're going to activate a fast forward here that we don't normally do. And the friendly fire strat is still as good as ever in letting us deal 2 damage without sweeping anything. And this minimizes downtime here. So here's where we're gonna activate the fast forward. And this lets us deal with all of this area and sweep 4 trash. And then we can end it preemptively. So that lets us get through things as fast as possible without having to deal with the timer. And then the rewind is no different. So just sweep the golem pieces for 300 gold total, and then sweep as much trash as you can.
Oh, you went for the double rewind as well. Nice.
Yep. We're going to need those 2 rewinds.
Also, I guess...
And that's how we were able to get this stage
to the
in
138.
under minute 40.
Also important to note, we were pretty balanced with how we were set in levels, so when me and Lotus do levels, but we made it specifically clear that I did Forgotten City, and Lotus did Temple of Lost Time.
Yep. So, if you're wondering how we managed to get 116 on 5-2 when we normally average around a minute 23 or so, the time save comes from using the rewind as soon as you can possibly do so. And then hoping for good luck on the Mulgon. Fun fact on this stage was one I actually ended up getting first try. But I ended up getting too many fast forwards.
Oh no.
Because I was only aiming to get, I think it's one here, and I ended up getting 2.
Does that conflict with, like, anything?
I do believe it would have conflicted, so I could have.
Oh, okay.
But even then, you don't complain about it. I see there's a slight issue in the gold here.
Damn it. Alright. What was the actual gold?
I believe it is 882, but we will see.
Oh, well, I mean, if a 3 kind of looks like an 8.
I wasn't too far off here. Actually, I've got this spreadsheet open for it. So why don't I just look at that? Give me a sec here to look at it.
Well, besides the gold, the stage execution here was incredible.
And we use an extra fast forward here as well because we have it. And I just got the gold amount. It is 837.
837? What was I smoking when I was doing that?
You're clearly smoking the good stuff. I'll tell you that.
Oh well, I'm sure that's the only thing I left in.
Yep.
I would say it would be quite funny if this was an actual segment, and you just only got 300 gold.
Yeah, 837 was the amount.
Okay.
The 382 is accurate, but that's for the next split.
Ah, okay. I see. I can see how I messed that up.
It happens.
Doesn't go for the button.
Yep. And we try to get this
not even
far away
looking.
as we can. The only unfortunate thing is that we couldn't get another fast forward. But we're not going to complain either.
Good time.
So, I know you can see that we don't have any rewinds. So how are we going to quick kill Juggernaut? Well, this is how it's going to happen. We're going to fast forward immediately, just like we do normally. Get the trash we need. We're going to damage once, then we'll get hit. And then we're going to deal 2 more hits. And then just pray that the balls don't hit us, but here we don't hit it. And that's how you finish it in under 36 seconds.
Alright, now here we come to probably the worst time I ever had. So, that's not a typo, that is, I actually spent 7 hours playing this. Not in one go, but with multiple play sessions. And my actual gold here, I was down 150 basically. There is a lot of stuff in this stage that can really ruin the timing. So, the first one is this area here with the 4 enemies. So, for a perfect 6-1, would have the gatekeeper lodged between the red barrels. And then it would die quicker, and then you'd be able to move forward. But I did not have that happen. But it doesn't stop you from reaching the target time, thankfully. And so, second thing, gold requirement. That was also one of the problems with this. But we did make it clear that if the time was if the target time was close, then we would sort of like say, hey, don't worry about the gold. well, we can make that up later in another level. Another thing is time controls. I had to get a lot of time controls in this stage. And, you know, trying to get time controls while going really fast in this stage is quite difficult. Just because you want... Yeah.
Stages that we made concessions on. This is one of those.
It's just a very, like, difficult mechanically level. Like, you gotta do a lot of stuff in this level. But, a 150... I still got a 155, at least. It was just, had like half a second in there, at least.
So, 6-2 has this fun little strat at the beginning that you can't normally do. But, if you can find the angles, and I believe it's like, hold up right on your left stick, and I think it's right on your other one, you can do an immediate shot coming out of the starting gate and damage the purple chrono blob while killing the other 2 yellows. That's not the only reason why this split time is a 122 essentially, and you'll see why coming up here when we get to the recorder usage. And then 1 bomb is more optimal here. So we're not going to go for the minecart jump, we're just going to do this. This same strat works in the IL, and in fact is mandatory in the IL, but it can work in full game as well. And then I got amazing luck with the Molgon here. And that allowed me to get to the end as soon as possible.
No time wasted. Ah, another fun stage that we had here. I think this stage, so I remember completing this stage and then showing Lotus, and then Lotus coming straight back to me and saying, "You didn't do this." To be fair, it did save us a lot. What we do here, this jump right over here, does save a lot of time, and I think Lotus just wanted to, you know, max out on this stage.
Yep.
So biggest trouble on this stage, time controls again. So trying to get like the record and the fast forward here was quite annoying because I wasn't sure if I was supposed to get the record first or the fast forward first, because you know there's some that spawn, and then so I was like, alright, I'll get the record, and then I was 1 short on the fast forward, but I was really banking on one of these monsters to drop it. But thankfully, praise be God, the Molgon dropped the fast forward, and I was able to grab some extra gold while I was doing that as well. Then we use a fast forward at the end of the stage. Doing so allows us to get a sub 120. Super clean.
Now Karagon 2, it is for the most part similar to how we execute, but the difference is that instead of us going to the left, we're going to go to the right. The reason why we go to the left in full game normally is because when you shoot in a fast forward, it has a tendency to go off to the left, which is why you see that we are aiming further right when we do so. But if we can get behind it, then we can get the records as soon as possible. And then getting hit here intentionally is good. And we still do need to money dupe here. But that's about as fast as we can get the 3 hits on that we need. So we'll just let that play out. And I was very happy for the amount of gold that I was able to get on the stage.
Yeah, that's quite high, honestly, for a double dupe.
Of all the stages in this segmented run, that stage has the second most amount of gold. You'd think it would be the most, but nope.
Alright, 7-1. So, one of the, you know, probably one of the funnest levels in the game for me, 7-1. this is a lot of cool stuff that you can do to like go really fast. You know, to start off with the 3 super bombs. We don't use record in this stage, which is actually quite interesting because it's just faster to not use a record, because there's not really any sort of good way to use a record in this stage. Any sort of way that's not like viable yet. But it's sort of the same as the any percent. Now for this shot here, usually we shoot to the left of this ice turtle, but I shoot behind it. This was a suggestion from a viewer because I was actually live streaming these attempts. So thank you, Jenny Blaze, for the suggestion. It helped me through this segmented run. It really helps as well because you want to hit that roulette while the spiker is going through its animations of getting back up and recovering. Yeah, also got really lucky with the records here. I accidentally grabbed 2 records, like that record crystal at the end. And we use a record at the end here to save a little bit more money. And yeah, that's the end of 7-1.
Funnily enough, we actually got an exact match on our target and actual gold there. We were aiming for 1,000 and got exactly 1,000. So 7-2. This uses the Grand Showstopper strat that I use, but we've now added forced bond duplication. And if you use the Grand Showstopper strat, you can actually activate the record immediately. If only we could find a place in the run besides 7-2 and 7-3 to be able to dupe more bombs the way we do here.
Yeah.
Because that would save a lot of gold. Because the reason why we duplicate these bombs is because each one effectively gives us another 150 in profit. And you could also do it with spikes on bosses if you wanted, but spikes aren't available until 7 shops, so it's unfortunate, but we can't really make use of it. Though if you were to do it, each additional spike that you duplicate would be an extra 120 gold of profit. But obviously you have to be careful with crossing a fine line. You don't want to do too much.
Surprised you got this stage pretty quick as well. With the attempt time.
Yeah, I was just glad to see that fast forward crystal. The only real mistake here is that I did not pick up another crystal prior to doing that. So that cost a couple seconds. But luckily we can use record abuse here. And I ended up being a derp and missed a shot. But with those super bombs, we just brought back 5 super bombs instead of 3. So we got 1250 gold for that. Now 7-3, you'll see that the time was very off. And once again, time controls and gold were the big problem here. Because not only were we needing a whole lot of gold, this is the highest gold requirement of any stage, but we needed to execute everything as well. And the reason why we are able to get this much gold in 7-3 is because, again, of forced bond duplication, which will happen right at the end.
So this would be the most gold in a stage, right?
Yep.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, because we're not going to be duplicating gold in 7 boss. So even though my time on this stage is slower than the target that was specified, this was a stage we made concessions on. And it'll be clear once we get to the second half. Luckily, this was about as good of luck as I could get, and then I get the pause at the end. So we are going to get the pause here. We do need to. And then, so here's how we're going to duplicate our bombs. We'll take out the gatekeeper, take out the other enemies as fast as possible, and then shoot 3 super bombs towards the wall. We will have enough time to sweep all 3 of those. So even though we bought only 5 super bombs, we're going to be finishing the stage with 8. And that 8 is worth 2,000 gold.
Oh, that was close. That one almost squashed one of the bombs.
Yep.
Now, if you did squash one of the bombs, would you continue with this?
I would not. Our gold requirement becomes way too strict in the end. But as you can see, 2,180 extra gold as a result of the trash that we had.
And because of the amount of gold we have, since we didn't have to dupe, that also actually, helped us with cutting down Hydrosaur's time a lot by 11 seconds of the target time. And the actual gold we got as well was also quite high too.
When compared to the previous segmented run, this Hydrosaur is 42 seconds faster.
Oh, wow. Did we triple dupe in the last one? Or was it double dupe?
I don't know if we did a triple dupe. But another part of the reason is the fact that we are using 3 fast forwards here. And we're also saving on not having to use a record at all.
That's right. We do, so what's different from this? We would do this in full game as well, but we don't use a fast forward at the end. Just because the timing, or one, we need to hit a record to dupe the monster usually. And the timing's quite strict. But for this, since we didn't have to dupe, we could just use a fast forward at the end. And it was super crisp. Now this, 8-1, oh man, this stage goes crazy. So we were theorizing how fast, how we were going to break, sort of the target time for this. And then Lotus suggested to me that, hey, we can do car clip. And I had not known what this was prior to doing this segmented attempt. But, this strat is basically now implemented into any % full game runs, because it's actually quite accessible. So what it does is that essentially you can use the clipping of this this car to push yourself through the wall, and then you basically skip the entirety of Hashbound City, and then we can essentially go ahead with our pause strat that we do. But man, we go through this stage quick because of this car strat now, and it's really awesome because we can also sweep it through the wall, so we don't lose out on killing this spiker really fast. And thankfully, my timer control requirements weren't that bad. So just needed the fast forward and the record, and then just making sure that I, saved the 2 super bombs and these golem pieces. It's important to be really fast with your movements here, because you only have a certain amount of time to go into the goal gate with your recorded Blinx. One of the other levels where we do record abuse to save money. And 8-2, another gold requirement where could be a little bit tight, but wasn't too bad. The important thing at the start was to get that bomb shot in that room. Usually in full games we use a fast forward and run in and then blow ourselves up, but to save time we just shoot a bomb in there instead. Just clears out the room, and then all we have to do now is just use the level 1 trash on these 2 dust herders that now have 1 HP. So I make sure that I sweep up these 2 dust herder balls. Don't usually do it, but because of the gold requirement, I was like, alright, I can keep these during my run. And what you would do is that you use a pause, and then you just put them down somewhere, shoot your super bomb, just pick them back up, and then by the time we pick up all the golem pieces in this level, we will have our 800 gold. It's not too bad, although I could have just picked up the gold that was like the Tom gold that was scattered on the ground, and I probably would have reached the gold anyway. But I, for some reason, my brain didn't really think of that. Now, funny thing is, we use a rewind here instead of a pause because it's I think, what was the reasoning? Was it faster, or was it just because it just fit our like time control schedule, or like our time control guide?
I actually would have used the rewind first and then pause.
Oh, I guess it worked out in the end.
Because I was thinking that you were going to get the Tom gold. So it's like, get the Tom gold, use the rewind to destroy the Typhoon and the Octoballoon, then sweep the golden pieces, and then not sweep the dust critter balls. Now 8-3 has another fun strat that we can use, but it comes into play at the end. So the record is unchanged, but we do need to pick up a pause here, and we also need to pick up a fast forward, but we have to prioritize the pause first. Because we can't do the strat that we were looking for unless we got the pause first. And I suppose in theory I could have probably gone for the slow as well, but the pause is way easier to get. Given that there's 2 pause crystals. I'm actually very surprised I didn't get hit by the blades there. Now the reason why I sweep this large barrel is actually because I found that it wasted the least amount of time, even though it takes longer to sweep. But we're going to do cog jump. So we wait for the barrel to be on the other side, then we activate a pause, and then we can just jump right to the end. And because that's where the second golem is, this strat is specific to the Japanese release, or Platinum Hits. Because the second golem on original release is at the top of the other area.
It switched around, yeah.
Now 8 boss is another stage that we made concessions on. So, I'm sure you've noticed that we don't have any rewinds. Well, the theory behind that was because the rewinds aren't exactly the fastest time control, we were going to make up for that by having more fast forwards in the boss rush. And that is still going to be a true statement, because I'm going to be using only 3 of my fast forwards here. Now we still need the 1 rewind as well. But luckily, no extra roll. It was important for me to get at least the first of the minions taken out, because that's what lifts the middle ring.
Oh.
And then from there I can use that. Now, my mistake here was that I should have just been in the middle to get knocked back as little as possible. But in the end, I did need to pick up a slow. We're not going to use that slow. It's only because we have to pick it up.
Yeah, might as well pick it up now, rather than in Chrono Horn.
Now, I needed 243 gold, but I ended up getting 317. Ideally, the ideal case would be getting that in 2 sets of gold instead of 3. But you take what you get.
Move on to the boss rush. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Lotus.
You're good. Now, because we have so many fast forwards, we can use them in earlier points in the boss rush. And we still can be... Essentially, we can be a lot more cavalier with our fast forward usage. Because we have the 3 to spare, and then we're going to get 2 more when we reach Karagon 2 again. So we'll have 5 to use.
Very nice there. So now we use our record abuse. So instead of only having 8 spike bullets for Hydrosaur next, we'll now have 9. And then we're going to use another record abuse for Hydrosaur, and then by the time we'll have, was that 6? 6, yeah, that's right. and then that'll help out in balancing our spike bullet management for Kerrigan and Juggernaut. They're just the same
The record
strat.
abuse is about 13 seconds faster than going for it with waiting for Kerrigan to shoot something. Because previously we actually used a record while we had only 4 instead of while having 6. And we are going to actually pick up another record in Kerrigan so we can use it. The reason why it saves so much more time is because you don't need to wait for Kerrigan to shoot enemy trash.
Yeah, another. Also, I just noticed we didn't pick up or use a single retry in this run.
Yep.
Very, very clean. Now, this is a little bit different to regular Kerrigan since we have spike bullets. It's important to minimize the time with Kerrigan and his attack. So it's get this record, and then when he's doing his barrel attack, make sure to hit behind him, and then grab the fast forward here. Then as soon as he gets up, I want to use a record, and then we'll do our record abuse again. So then we can leave the stage with 4 spike bullets. The timing on this is a little bit tight because of the Kerrigan's death animation taking a long time. Thankfully we go through, and then we can go through Juggernaut. Now, same thing as in 8-3, where we don't really use rewinds because it's kind of slow. When instead we go for the fast forward strat, and use a fast forward, hope for one roll, and then you just use the fast forward speed to try and kill the minions as fast as possible. Stage is fun to play, even how absurdly difficult it was to do this RNG and the fast forward movement. It was still quite fun. Thankfully, we don't need to worry about gold anymore because when we're bringing back spike bullets through the boss rush, it already gives us like 2,000 gold anyway. So now go ahead, we use our rewind, just so then we can chain stun the last 2 hits on Juggernaut. And I didn't even worry about picking up gold here, and then I just wanted to go straight into the gold gate and go ahead and go into Chrono Horn.
So the reason we're only getting 5 spikes here is because this is the smallest amount of spikes we need. If we were to get more, we would actually just spend more time. Now that's the earliest first hit that you could possibly do. And you can actually get that with proper movement, but you have to have the camera in the right angle as well. So, and I get some very good luck here. So, once again, we get to phase 3 as fast as possible. And then we move around to figure 8s. This allows us to view the stage and the crystals that drop while going around. And now I saw that we have the pause. So, we are going to pick up pause first. And in a segmented run, if Chrono Horn activates fast forward, you embrace the fast forward. But I didn't want to risk getting hit there. So that's why I ended up ending it as soon as I could. Which was basically once I was at the next time control that I needed. Now we got the slow in, here's the record, and then finally the fast forward. Now we're going to get pretty close to Chrono Horn because he'll always charge with iframes. But if you move around, you can hit him as soon as possible. And that's how we ended up finishing the full run in 48 minutes and 8 seconds.
Honestly, quite
which is more
impressive.
than 4 minutes faster than our previous segmented run.
It's also 6 minutes and like 40 something seconds faster than the current world record for platinum hits, at least. Yeah, and you see we got our stats on the screen of how much gold we collected, how much gold was spent. So you see at the end we only have about like 550 554 gold.
554.
And then our sum of attempts, it took almost 40 hours of just attempts to get the time. And then obviously you can see at the bottom with our time controls how many time controls we actually picked up during this time. You can see that fast forward just obliterates all our time controls. Even record, which is our second most picked up, it's only 18.
We use just as many fast forwards in the full run as we do records, rewinds, and pauses combined.
Fast forwards is crazy good. You know, having that damage boost and being able to just, when you have unlimited attempts and then you can use that movement to the best possible ability, it's crazy good.
But we definitely still have to give the shout out to record strats.
Yeah, super bombs and like record abuse, super good.
Records just changed everything when it comes to what you can do.
So Lotus, what do you think needs to happen if we wanted to get this time down to a 45?
We wanted to get it down to a 45.
Yeah.
I would say we would need even more fast forward usage, and we would potentially need to cut out some record usage as well. Ironically, like, we don't want to cut out record abuse usage, but we also have to be careful with what we do.
Yeah.
Because some record usage is necessary. But if we can cut out some of the record usage, because the usage of a single record, when used as intended, is an 18-second time investment.
Yeah, you do have to
So
think
we would have
about
to
that.
cut out some of those. Because
it is important to have that, you know, record for super bombs, but you also have to think about, is this actually faster if I don't use a record? That's sort of the thing with 7-1, is it faster to use a record, or is it just faster to waste the money and then just go? I just thought it's some of the things we just have to theorize every now and again with each level. Hey, you know, in the future, you know, when we reroute levels, there might be changes, maybe. But hey, this game's, we still got a bit to go, you know. I don't think we're done with this game yet in terms of bringing down the time.
I do have a couple things in mind that we could potentially do, especially in 7-1, because there is something we could do there, and it involves using a bomb boost to get from the starting area to where the 16-ton weight is. Because if you were to do that, you could activate a record and take out the enemies in the roulette area all in one shot each.
Well,
the only real issue is that you would then lose that 16-ton weight for the final gatekeeper, unless you were to go for the alternate timeline glitch. But that's an investment in of itself too.
Well, as we're nearing the end of our Blinx segmented credits speedrun, is there anything you wanted to add before we sign off?
You know, nothing that comes to my mind unless you've got something in mind for yourself.
I'm just glad that we were able to finish this before the end of 2023. Even though
we did record after, but we got it.
There was some procrastination there, but I think we both needed a break. But I'm glad that we finally finished it.
At least it's no longer on the back burner.
Well, to all the Blinx speedrunning fans of me and Lotus, just want to say thank you for just watching the speedruns, interacting, and we hope you enjoyed this segmented speedrun.
Yes, thanks for having me, Miku, and thanks for helping me get through this project. I know I definitely could not do this by myself.
Same with me.
So, with all that said, thank you everyone for watching.
Stak zerbom Seacraft ma. Strakzan. Di serwas tan.